So good morning. In our last class, we were studying about the servlets. So a servlet is a server-side programming. So that is used to serve various clients, and each servlet will execute as a separate thread. So and we discussed the life cycle of servlets, which contains three functions, that is uh, init, service, and destroy. So we shall see a simple servlet. In order to run a servlet, first we have to create it, compile the servlet source code. Then what we have to do is we have to copy the class file of the servlet in the folder. So in the directory wherever we want. Then we have to add the servlet name and the mapping in the web.xml file. So web.xml is a configuration file that contains all the servlet names and their corresponding mapping. So once it is done, then we have to start the Tomcat. So Tomcat is a server. So server will get started. Then we have to open a browser and send the request to that particular servlet. So how to identify a servlet? So servlet will be identified based on the directory path. So a simple servlet would look like this. So all servlets will have to import a package, that is java x.servlet.star. So for the first one is io.star. The second package, whatever we are observing here, is the java x. So it is the x dot servlet dot star. So these are the packages that has to be imported. So it contains classes and interfaces to build the servlet. So they constitute the servlet API. And remember, this servlet package is not part of the core Java package. So instead, they are the standard extensions provided by the Tomcat. And again, they are not included in the Java S Standard Edition 6. So in the program, if we look at this code, so public class, then we are writing the name of the servlet, that is the hello servlet, extends generic servlet. So all the servlets, whatever we write, so they extend from a base class, that is generic servlet. So generic servlet is a base class of the servlets. Then inside that, we are writing a method, that is service method. So that service method, its syntax is public void service, and it takes two parameters. One is request, another one is response. And the object type is servlet request, servlet response. So servlet request and servlet response are the classes. So they are defined in the servlet package. So this request acts as the input parameter, and response is the object that is the response from the server to the client. And this function is capable of throwing the exception. So that's why we have to include throws, servlet exception, and IO exception. So two kinds of exceptions are thrown from this method if there are any errors. So this is the syntax of service method. So in order to create a servlet, we have to define the service method. So the other method, that is the init and destroy, it is not mandatory. Okay, so if we don't write the init and destroy method, so then this generic servlet will provide its own initialization as well as the destroy methods. So inside that, whatever code we want, we can write, and whatever we are writing, so it is in the response object. So a simple one, what is being written here is response dot set content type text slash HTML. So first we have to set what is the type of the content that is present in the response object, or what response we are sending back to the client, and its type has to be mentioned. So that is using set content type. So response dot set content type. So this set content type indicates that the content present in the response object is of HTML type. So it is text slash HTML. Then in order to write, we will get the writer on the response object. So that is response dot get writer. So this get writer will give the handle for us to write into the response object. Then that handle is of the type print writer. So then on the print writer, we can add whatever text we want using println method. So pw.println. So here we can write the HTML tags. So that is the bold tag followed by the message hello. So whatever response we want, so we can put them in the println method, and finally we can close the print writer. So by the end of this method, what happens? A response object would have been set with the content HTML, and the text that is present is bold tag followed by the hello message. So the response object is returned back to client. And now it is the responsibility of the client to process this response object and take necessary actions based on the value. So access to servlet from a browser. So whenever we are accessing a servlet from browser, so we can test the deployed application. So for that purpose, we need to have a access from the browser itself. So in Eclipse, they provide their own browser also to deal with servlets, or we can simply type this in the Chrome also. So HTTP localhost 8080 is a port number. Hello is the application name, and then hello servlet is the name of the servlet. So in this here we created a class that is hello servlet. So hello servlet is the name of the servlet. So when this particular URL is invoked, then this service method gets executed and response object will be returned. So again, instead of generic exception, so this servlet can extend the HTTP servlet also. So again, HTTP servlet is a built-in HTTP servlet. It is present in JavaX servlet.http package. So inside this package, so this HTTP servlet is present. So if you want a HTTP servlet, then we have to use this particular package. So this HTTP package contains a number of interfaces and classes that are commonly used by the servlet developers. So its significance is it works over the internet using the HTTP protocol. So now instead of service, so we have do get and do post methods. So they act as a service methods. So public void do get, and the parameter here is instead of servlet request, so now it is HTTP servlet request object, and HTTP servlet response. So again, this is capable of throwing servlet exception and IO exception. So here we can directly get the response dot get writer, then println hello world. So the content type is not set here because it is a HTTP. So it is known that, so it will be in the HTML tags will be there in the print method. So the servlet API. So with these basic examples, so let us look at the servlet API itself. So two packages are there in servlet API, that is JavaX servlet and JavaX servlet.http. So these are the two packages. They contain the classes and the interfaces that are required for the development of a servlet. So this JavaX servlet package has a core interfaces. Here is a list. So the interface is a servlet. So servlet is a interface. So here the lifecycle methods of a servlet are declared. So lifecycle method means init, destroy, and service. Servlet config. So the servlet config allows the servlet to get the initialization parameters. So initialization parameters can be obtained using the config. Context, servlet context. So that enables servlet to log the events and access information about the environment. So event logging can be done over there. So if we want it in the application, then request and response. So servlet request. So servlet request is used to read the data from the client request. So this request is the request from client to servlet. Then in the response, so it is response is used to write the data from servlet to client. So that is the response. So the classes include generic servlet. So generic servlet implements the servlet and servlet config interfaces. Then servlet input stream. So servlet input stream class provides an input stream for reading request from the client. So similarly, servlet output stream. So this provides an output stream for writing responses to the client. Then servlet exception. So this servlet exception indicates some error has occurred and exceptions will be raised. Unavailable exception. So unavailable exception will be raised when the servlet is unavailable, either temporarily or permanently. So let us look at the servlet interface itself. So here we will just have the list of interface methods and their description. So all servlet must implement this interface or extend a class that implements this interface. So either this interface can be directly extended, or we can extend a class that has already implemented this particular interface. So all servlet must implement it. So in this servlet interface, so it contains the init, service, and destroy methods. So they are the methods that are called by the server during the life cycle of the servlet. So a method is also provided that allows a servlet to obtain any initialization parameters during its life cycle. So these init, service, and destroy are the life cycle methods. So that are called by the servlets. They are called by the server. Okay, so we have destroy method. So destroy method is called when the servlet is unloaded from the memory, when the servlet goes out of the scope in the server. Then servlet config, get servlet config. So get servlet config will return the configuration object that contain the initialization parameters for this specific servlet. Then get servlet info that returns the string that describes the servlet. Then void init servlet config. So init means it is the initialization. So it is called when a servlet is initialized. So initialization parameter for the servlet will be passed as a config object over there. So it is capable of throwing the servlet exception. So when it is unavailable, so it will throw a this particular exception. Then service method. So service method takes request as well as response parameters. It throws servlets and IO exception. So this service method is called to process the request from the client. So and whatever the client has sent the information that is present in the request object and the response that this servlet is going to write. So that should be in the response object. So request and response. So apart from this, we have few other methods, that is servlet context. So get servlet context. So context of the servlet can be extracted. Then get init parameter. So initialization parameter can be obtained. Then get init parameter names. Only the name of the parameter can be extracted as a enumeration. Get servlet name. So this returns the name of the invoking servlet. So these are just the methods and their description. This is the servlet context interface. So in the context interface, so we will have get attribute. So it returns a value of the server attribute. So server attributes can be read over here. Get MIME type. So this is the, it returns the MIME type. So MIME type indicates which type of data that we are writing in the response. So in our previous example, it was a text/HTML. So similarly, we have other MIME types for image, videos, audio, and normal text responses. So that is the MIME type. Then get real path. So this get real path returns the path that corresponds to the virtual path. So virtual path maybe the path relative to the current location. So in the real path, the entire path from the starting of the directory to this particular servlet will be returned. Get server info. So it returns the information about the server, maybe the server version, its capacity. So how long it is up, how many threads are free, how many are available in the thread pool. So all those things can be returned. Then log. Log means server can maintain the log, so it can write using this particular log. So similarly, we have servlet request interface. So servlet request interface. So this enables a servlet to obtain information about the client request. So it has a method like destroy, get attribute. So we can get the attributes, get MIME type, get real path. So all those things. So then get a parameter, get parameter names, content type, get character encoding. So this says what is the encoding of the request. So in response, again we have certain methods, that is the get writer, get set content length, set content type, get character encoding. So these are the methods that are present in response. So next comes the generic servlet class. So this generic servlet class provides the implementation of the basic lifecycle methods for a servlet. So already whatever interfaces we saw, servlet interface, that is already implemented in this generic servlet class. So if we just implement or extend this class, so it is sufficient because it has all the basic life cycle methods that are required. So another class that we have is servlet input stream. So this input stream class, so it extends from the input stream class, so that is in IO package. So it is implemented by the servlet container and provides an input stream that the servlet developer can use to read the data from the client. So it defines the default constructor. So in addition, a method is provided to read the bytes from the stream. So stream means it is a sequence of continuous sequence of data bytes. That's it. So the method that is provided over here is a read line. So read line contains the buffer, then the offset and the size. So a buffer is an array into which this many size bytes are placed after the offset. So this methods return the number of bytes that are read from the stream. So the bytes will be read from the stream. It will be placed in the buffer array, and number of bytes to read is specified in the size, and the offset in the buffer is specified using the second parameter over there. So this is the input stream. So similarly, servlet output stream is class is present. So this is for outputting the data from the servlet. So again, this extends from output stream class. So it is implemented by the servlet container and provides an output stream so that the programmer can write the data into the response. So it defines two methods, that is print and println. So that's why in the example we wrote using the print and println methods. So this is the servlet output stream. So output stream is for writing the data into the response, whereas servlet input stream is for reading the data. Then we have the servlet exception class also. So servlet exception class, there are two exceptions. One is the servlet exception, another one is the unavailable exception. So servlet exception indicates that the servlet in a servlet there is a problem, and in the unavailable exception indicates that the servlet is currently unavailable. So either there may be problem in the loading itself, or the name of the servlet that which we are calling may be wrong. So in that condition, so unavailable exception will be thrown. So reading servlet parameters. So what happens? So as I mentioned in the last class, so the request will be sent to a servlet from a browser. So our simple Chrome browser can act as a client. So when I talk about the Chrome browser, a web page will be displayed. So the web page will be in HTML. So a web page is developed using the HTML tags. So what happens? In order to take the data from the user, we will use HTML forms. So a form is nothing, is a tag that contains the input elements. So on that input element, so user will enter the data. On clicking the buttons or on submitting the form. So on submitting means there is a special input button, that is submit. So whenever we click on the submit button, so form action means for that particular action, the control will be redirected. So here what happens, we'll create a HTML document. We'll put all the input tags that is required for the application. On clicking the submit button, or whenever we want to submit the data, we'll send the data, whatever has been entered in the input tags, to the servlet. So we'll create a request object, put all the data that is entered in the text boxes or input elements, and that is sent to the servlet. So the servlet will get the input from the form, it will process and send back the response to our browser. So a simple HTML form is given over here. So HTML tag, body tag, so center alignment, form name is form1. So name of the form is form1. So the method which we are using is a post method. So two types of method can be used. One is the get method, another one is the post method. So get method is normally used to extract the data from the server. So and post method we are using to send the data to the server. But the same task can be done using get or post. So in functionality, there is no difference. So we can send the data from client to server and server to client. So both can be done either in get or post. But the difference is in the encoding. So when we use the get method, all the parameters are not encoded, or not, we can say, not encrypted. So that will be visible in the packet itself. So you can observe in the URL itself. If we had used the post method, in the URL, there will be an ampersand and all the values that we have typed in the text box that are part of the URL. So data becomes part of the URL. So there is no encrypting. So when there is no encrypting, there is no safety, because by looking at the URL, so in between the packet data can be read. So that is when we are using get method. But when we use the post method, so the data will not be part of the URL. So instead it will be encrypted. So it is safer to use the post method if we want the communication between the client and the server to be private. So no one in between will get to know the data that is being transmitted. So in the action field, we are specifying the servlet. So HTTP localhost 8080 servlet post parameter servlet. So post parameter servlet is the name of the servlet that is residing in the project servlet. So this is the path. So on this server, there is a folder that is servlet, and inside that there is a servlet. For that servlet, we are sending the action. So which means when we click on the submit button, so all the data will be sent to this particular servlet. So what is the data that we have? So we are creating a table to place the input elements. So it is just, we want to align the input element. So that's why it is put in the table tag. Otherwise it is not necessary. So employee. So in the text box, we are taking the employee name or employee details. So it is the text box. Type is equal to text box and its name is E. So this input element can be identified by the name E. Size 25. So it is just the size. So initial value is blank. Then another one, phone number field. We are storing input type is equal to text box, name is equal to P, then size again 25, value is blank. Another input element we have, that is the submit. So type is equal to submit, value is equal to submit. So when this page is opened, so we have a table structure. On one side we'll have employee, text box, then phone number, text box and submit button. So that is the form. So once we click on the submit button, so what happens? The control will be sent to this post parameters servlet. So what does this servlet do? That code we have to write. So in the servlet, we have to read the data that is provided in the employee text box and the phone number text box. So for that, we can define a post parameters servlet. So this servlet is importing IO package, utility package, then servlet package. So class name is post parameter servlet. So it is extending the generic servlet. So in this, we are writing the service method. So in service method, it is the service request as well as the response. So whatever data that we have entered in the form input elements, so will be now present in the request object. Okay. So we have to read that request. So then we have a writer in order to just send the output back. So response.get writer. So here what we are doing is, first we will get the parameters names. So what we have to do, enumeration E request object dot get parameter names. So in the form there are only two parameters. So one is the employee, another one is the phone number. So the name of the employee text box is E and the phone number text box is P. So that will be returned in the enumeration. So for this enumeration, so enumeration is containing two elements. So E and P. So while E has more elements, so we'll iterate over this enumeration. So while iterating over this enumeration, so we have to extract the parameter. So what we are doing, E has more elements. So has more elements. So it will iterate over the enumeration, that is E over here. So string P name, that is E dot next element. So we'll extract the element. So we'll print the next element. So here the parameter name is printed. So in the enumeration, when we have get parameter name, only name of the parameter will be extracted. So once we extract the name of the parameter, the next task is to extract its value. So both of them cannot be extracted together. So first we'll extract the names of all the parameters, then one by one we'll extract the values. So for that we'll print the name of the parameter. Then in order to extract the value of the parameter, so we have to use the method get parameter. So request dot get parameter p name. What is p name? So it is a p name is a temporary variable. It is declared over here. It is nothing but the name of the parameter. So using this while loop, we are iterating over all the parameter names, store them temporarily in p name, and using this p name get the parameter. So request dot get parameter. So now what happens? The value will be extracted and we can print it. So in this, what we are doing, we are first extracting all the parameter names. Then we will iterate over that enumeration. So on each element or each parameter, what we do is we extract its value. So its value is extracted using get parameter method on a request object. So once we have the value, so we can print it. So in our response, what we are printing? So we are just printing the employee is equal to and the phone number is equal to. So our output will be E equal to value, P is equal to value. So that is our output. So where it will be printed? So it will be in the request object. So we have placed it in the request object. So in order on the HTML side, we have to read the response. We have placed it in the response object. So on the HTML side, on the client side, we have to read it and display it. So what we have to do in order to run this? So we have to compile this. Then we have to place this servlet in the appropriate directory, update the web.xml file, and then start the server, open the browser, enter the name of the employee and phone number details in the text field and submit. So after doing this, the browser will display a response that is dynamically generated by the servlet. And that response object is constructed here. So on clicking that submit button, all the request parameters will be sent to servlet. So servlet will create a response. That response is displayed on a HTML page. So this is a simple servlet. So we can stop here for today's class. You can enter your attendance in the chat window. In the next class, we shall look at the HTTP servlets. So HTTP servlets will be present in HTTP package. For that particular package, so we'll see its interfaces, classes, and how to use it.